Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm James.
And welcome to the Cornwall Property Podcast, where every week we bring you the latest news, hot topics and guidance around the Cornwall property market.
Stay tuned to be informed, inspired and to have any of your property related questions answered by trusted local property professionals.
Welcome back, I'm Dan.
I'm James.
And this is episode 70 of the Cornwall Property Podcast. And we are once again joined by none other than Director of CAD Architects, Jeremy Bradley. Jeremy, thanks for
Hello. Thanks for having me.
You stuck around.
Yes, I'm still here.
We haven't scared you off.
Thank you.
Yeah, hasn't moved.
Haven't changed my shirt or anything.
No, this is it. This is it. Crikey, you've been in that for a whole week.
I know.
So, for those of you that didn't hear last week's episode, number 69, you have missed out on some fantastic content that Jeremy's shared with us, and it's massively recommend just go and listen back to that. Because we get asked regularly about architectural services and what kind of services do we need an architect for. Jeremy is the man to answer and help with those questions. So this is our Q&A question episode, James.
Certainly is, and just remember you can get in contact with us with your questions by going onto our social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram. Alternatively, you can give us an email on podcast@cl-property.com and get in touch like you do. And we have our first question, don't we, Dan?
That's it. Well, I will get this first question underway then. So we've got Sam from Bude, and Sam, again, we get lots of questions, Jeremy, and obviously with your expertise here, we've managed to pick some that we think will be perfect for you, and you're better to answer these than we are. So we've saved these ones for you. So thank you and sorry.
That's all right.
Sam from Bude, thank you for getting in touch. And Sam's question was: there seems to be a fair bit of choice out there when it comes to architects. What should you look for when selecting a good architect?
It's a good question.
A good architect. Are they an architect? That might be some challenge you can present right at the beginning. Just because a company says ABC architecture, they might not necessarily be an architect. 95% of people assume...
That's scary.
Sometimes if you're ABC architectural, providing architectural services, doesn't necessarily mean an architect is drawing up your job. So you can look for, at the most basic, are they registered with the Chartered Institute of Architectural Technicians? That gives them some element of that they've got training, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're an architect. And then looking for the next stage is, are they registered with the Architects Registration Board? That will tell you if they're an architect. And the next level is, are they registered with the Royal Institute of British Architects? And that's RIBA, with an RIBA charter practice.
The naivety of that. So what... you're going to kill me for saying it. What's the difference then? Why would that matter?
You could get someone just to draw plans. You could get, if you've got a small annex, you know what you want. Or you've got an existing building and you just want a toilet thing out the back, then you just need some plans drawn up, and you might not need that. But as the complexity of a job goes, and you've got planning problems, or if you actually want the designer to actually add value to your property, then you need a designer, or even a designer with expertise, and that might be expertise in planning, it might be expertise in planning law and planning policy, and then as that job escalates, you might need other consultants. And an architect isn't there just to draw plans, where there is a lead consultant, and we can advise you on a whole range of other consultants that you might need to get through a planning process or through a technical process.
Right.
So an architect has more design experience, obviously, and able to... One of the massive factors is, can we add value? Not just draw up plans, but can we actually add value from what you think was a good design? We might be able to add that extra 50 grand sales to your project by doing 5 grand's worth of architectural design.
So, and essentially, you the way I'd look at it is a simple format for someone who's not quite understanding is that an architect has a far bigger toolbox than an architectural technologist would have.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's understanding a little bit more about planning law, planning policy, and design skills, and dealing with a whole range of other consultants.
Got you. So when looking for a good architect, again, okay, well, say we've got two architects. We confirm they are architects. What would be the next thing to look for, Jeremy? Like, what would you recommend? Is it literally a case of we like the name of that one, or they've got availability? What would you look for?
People
there?
are always checking out our website, cadarchitects.co.uk.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Yeah,
obviously, plug that in. People do check out websites and see whether they like the flavour of the designs that we're producing.
You've got examples on there as well.
Absolutely, and they also see whether or not we're a one-man band. Do they have the capability to actually deal with my project? And they can see that we've got multiple staff in the office that can deal with different ranges of complexities within the job. And generally then they'll give us a call and we'll go and meet them and feel like, are we meeting up with them on a personality level, and are we understanding the client's brief? And that's for us to win the job, to understand the client, what they want, and then and obviously then we've got to entice them with the right price.
Absolutely.
Out of interest, Jeremy, because we do have some listeners that aren't in Cornwall, interestingly, if there was someone, what questions would you recommend, like someone to ask an architect to really get a good feel? Is there anything you recommend just asking an architect to see if they're on the ball, or if they are for them?
So what should a client ask an architect?
What should I ask my architect?
I think we get asked a lot of the times, have you done properties like this before?
Right, yeah.
I've got a barn conversion. Have you done other barn conversions? Yes, we have. Yeah. I've got a leisure project. Have you done a golf club before? Yes, we've done one of those before.
Experience in what
exactly. And we do get asked that as well. And whether or not have you got capabilities to do the job, and that's when people want to feel a bit reassured that we're a larger firm and that we're not just one man stuck with 17 jobs going, I'll get to yours next month. We've got the technicians there already. We've got the 3D visualizers there. We've got the planning consultant there. We've got the, so...
And there's no harm in asking. So, have you done this? Okay, yes, I have. Well, can you show me some examples? Like, can you show me what you've done that is similar to what I've got?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
The website's good for that, obviously. Yeah.
I'd also say, just on the back of Sam's question as well, like you're obviously getting to the phase 2 where you're selecting an architect, but it's how do you actually find one so you can get to the position to, select one. But I guess you're in a job where it's all done a lot on word of mouth. You're suddenly seeing Mrs. Jones's grand design style property. It's like you've only got to ask, can I ask, knock on the door, who was the architect that did that? I guess referrals like, oh, you're the one that did that one that
Absolutely.
was in that. It's word
Absolutely.
of mouth.
It's got to be CAD Architects have been around in Cornwall for 25 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much we're well known, not within client base, but all the other consultants as well that we work with. Pass on recommendations to us as well.
Yeah, I bet.
And repeat clients, especially developers that keep coming back to us with more. So,
a little trick I used to use when I was looking to get in contact with architects is if I go past a property or a building that I like the look of and what's being constructed and the work's going on, I go onto the planning portal. I'd download the details and the documents on there and straight on, so you've got access to the plans and the drawings, haven't you? And in the bottom corner of all the plans and the drawings, it says who the architect is. So that's another way. Is if you see a project that's going on, you think, that looks brilliant. Really impressed with that. My advice would be go on the planning portal.
We do that all the time.
Yeah.
Look on the planning portal and say, who's done that one?
Done that? Yeah.
Check out who the architect is.
That was always a way that I used to do. Yeah, so that was always worked for me. But hopefully, no doubt, a lot of people will find that your name on the bottom corner of their.
Let's hope so.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
What else we got, James?
We've got our second question, which is from Paul in Falmouth, who asks the following: I am looking at a small commercial conversion project where I'm hoping to convert the upper 2 floors above the commercial shop to residential. What would I need to allow for in my budget for architectural work / assistance? Which I know that could be anything, but
got to get a survey done,
Yeah.
and that guessworking with a bit of tape measure can lead you into real problems, especially when you're trying to shoehorn in bathrooms and stuff like that. Getting a proper measured survey done is really important, and sometimes even before you're choosing an architect, get it done before then. You've got that, because you can wait weeks to get a survey done. So why wait weeks? Get that done. If you've secured the property, get the survey done. And that this is not just the buyer's survey, it's a proper measured building survey, so that you know how tall the ceilings are, you know how, if it's 3.5 metres to the corner, because it might be 3.4 metres to the other corner. So
and that's
get that done.
They would come to you for,
and that means we can start. We can do that, but if you're still toying with other architects, get it done, because actually, once we've got, so the first thing what we do when we're appointed is that we go and arrange a building survey, and then sometimes the client's having to wait 2, 3, 4 weeks for that survey to come back. Once we've got that survey, and once we've had an interview, once we've had a meeting, once we've agreed the fees, we can start designing straight away. And that if you're on a time situation, that's always useful. So that's one of the things we always encourage clients to do at an early stage.
So Paul here is asking, like, what kind of budgets was he allow for? So on average, like, obviously it depends at what stage we're looking to get involved in, I suppose.
We try and within our expertise of knowing that I've been in Cornwall 20 years of seeing lots of different building projects. I have a good idea of what a building project is going to cost. Then we try to say, okay, 3 flats, full refurb of that might be £150,000 for those 3 flats. We generally look at the construction cost of that and then apply a percentage to how complicated the job is. Mm-hmm. Because if it's a new build and on a flat grass and it's repetitive work, the percentage of that goes down 5-6%, you know. But if it's a complicated grade 2 listed building, which is going to lead every wall you peel back is, oh my God, look at that rotten lintel.
Method statement for every single
exactly right.
elevation.
And then it goes up to 12%, 11-12%. But let's just say 10% say might be the full architectural package of that, and £150,000 refurb, that's 15 grand. And of that 15 grand, it usually gets divided into 5 stages. One of them is a sketch stage, one of them is a planning stage, one of them is a technical stage, tender, and then construction. So there is a much variation, but if you divide that as into 5 equal parts, probably never do it in equal parts, but generally that's 5.
So the pay, it wouldn't be right up front, here's your 10%. No, it's spread over the course of the project.
Yeah, and sometimes if it's really complicated, you can just appoint us on an hourly rate and we'll just sort out the logistics of everything. And then once we know what your brief is and once we know the full extent of the project, then we can start doing fixed fees on that.
No, makes sense.
Good answer.
Yeah, no,
Thank you
hopefully
for
that helps, Paul.
Generally we generally look at what the cost of the construction is. Then we think about how complex it is, and then we'll apply a percentage. But then we can do fixed fees on that.
So with Paul's project here, he says it's a small commercial conversion. Say, depending on what the size of a small, what's your small compared to my small, Paul? But again, say that was a £150,000 project to develop that one out. So we'd look at, Paul, allow for 10%. Would you say, yeah? So 15k, allow for that side of things for the architectural. Would that include planning side of things, or is that part of the whole package, or is it literally
well, you've got a planning application fee, which is going up more and more all the time. I think it was $462, now it's $492 per dwelling or something.
Add it to the bill. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's part of it as well. And then you've got surveys where you've got to do measured building survey. You might have to do a ground investigation report. You might have to do a structural survey. Yeah. We try not to do too much doom and gloom on something. Yeah, no,
of course. It's just obviously,
But that's you guys developers, you know what it's like. It's,
flood risk. You got to take flood risk in there.
Exactly.
You've
got to take the risk to get the reward.
That's it. Of course you do. And Paul, hopefully that helps. And if you've got any other questions, please just do get in touch. Or even better, get in touch with Jeremy. And how could they do that, Jeremy?
You can get in touch with us at CAD Architects at cadarchitects.co.uk. Or you can call out 01872 630 040.
Fantastic. So I put it on the spot then.
That's it. Remember, you can get in contact with us here at the podcast on our social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram. Alternatively, you can send us an email on podcast@cl-property.com. And thank you for those of you that have this week.
Definitely. Again, thank you so much for dropping
Thanks, guys.
The value you have done, Jeremy. And no doubt people will get in touch, and hopefully it's well worth everyone's time. Cheers. Well, guys, that's episode 70 in the bag. See you next week, 71. So goodbye from me.
Bye from me as well. Take care, guys.